What are the best online business models for parents? What's up, guys? Will Mosley here. I'm a parent of 5 boys, soon to be 6 in March. Let's go. Been doing this thing, parenting, for like 11 years now. I've been a creative director for about 15 years, helping $1 million businesses make more millions. And I care so deeply about self-development, improvement in self. And like, if you're anything like me, you're my type of audience, you care about those things: parenting, business, self-development, all that stuff. So we're gonna rock out here with Start Right today. Before we start, like, majority of you guys that watch this channel regularly are not yet subscribed. Please hit the button, boom, right there. I just hit that button and the fucking laptop and phone will explode with like confetti. Okay, like that was my confetti. All right, cool. Now that you've done that, let's go ahead and get to the topic at hand today, which is best online business models for parents. Okay, so this is assuming that you already have a business, you're running your business, and either you're trying to run the thing like online, you're vibing out. And I think the question is more like, what would be maybe the best LTV that we can get out of our customers, okay? Because if you think about that, it's like, we want to, whenever you're selling something, like let's just say that you're cutting lawn, right? You're cutting lawns, let's just imagine that's your business. And you have an online website where people can like sign up to get their lawn cut. Most times, right, people don't want like a one-time lawn cut, right? They don't want like the, let me get my shit cut and that's it. Lawn people, they have it made by default, almost like cell phone people, like cell phone services, stuff like that. They have a service that, one, people don't want to do. 2, they'd rather someone else do it. And 3, it's repeatable. Your grass grows and then grows and then grows, and they cut it and then it grows again. And so typically they have what's called a reoccurring business model, where you agree up front, like, yo, okay, I'll pay you, like I pay my lawn people like $65, I think, every week. It's the winter time now, so it's scaled back quite a bit, obviously. But they collect $65 from me every week. That's reoccurring without fail. They show up, they do the service, and I just forever pay them. As long as they don't mess up something crazy, I'm just gonna keep on paying them money. And that's the model that you wanna be in. The one-off model is hard, okay? Where it's like, for instance, I'll tell you a one-off model and Start Right, but I'll also follow it up with a reoccurring model. You come to me, you need an online website, okay? Got you. I'll build it, knock it out, boom. Sounds good, great. Now you don't need a website again. It's a one-off. Now, here's what's cool about making websites, is that it is a bit of a one-time, but it is also a recurring model, okay? If you phase it the right way. So you've got the website that you initially built, but you also have, when you buy a website, you have hosting and web updates and web maintenance and security backups, that stuff. And just like you rent your land or rent, maybe you rent a bad example, you buy land and then you pay for that land, or you rent, like every month you have to pay for that land or pay for the place that your property is sitting on. It's all kind of encompassed in the mortgage, but really that's kind of what it is. You're paying for the land, but you're also paying for the house if you have a house that you've bought. So with web development, you've bought the house, okay? But the land that it's sitting on, the internet land that it's sitting on, for it to stay up and available, you pay pretty much a rent on that land, which is called hosting. And this could be anywhere, from $50 to $100, $200, whatever, per month, depending on how fast the speeds are for your website. All that stuff is there. But you pretty much pay hosting no matter what. When you buy a website, you have to pay for hosting. And so that in itself is a reoccurring model, right? You pay every month. If you aren't able to pay, then like the access to your website gets cut off. And so it's very important, just like our electric, that we pay our hosting, whatever. Now, in addition to that, most people, they want to update their website. Now, most modern web developers, they create websites that their clients can update and just do it. But most people, just like the grass, I could cut my lawn. I can do it myself. I don't want to. Most of the clients that I work for, most of the parentpreneurs that I work for, the people that I've worked for in the past, they could do it. They just don't want to. So they pay you for the convenience. So I'll do web updates every month or every week or whatever it is, depending on the plan, and do that for them. And of course, I have like 15 years of experience. So like my expertise is much more valuable than like your basic kind of thing, just like the grass. Like they just know how to trim the edges perfect. They know how to do everything. And so I'm willing to pay the premium, the service, to say, hands up, I'll go make my money elsewhere while you guys do this. That's what people are buying. They're buying their time back from you. That's why you order DoorDash, right? You literally, instead of cooking, you're like, I could do other things with this time. I can hang out with my fam. I could do this with my fam. Let's vibe out. I'd rather pay the premium and knock that out and it be done versus me going and cooking and spending 2 hours, which is a smart, intelligent move, by the way, right? If it takes you 2 hours like me to cook, like how much is your 2 hours worth, right? Let's just say you make $30, $40, $50 an hour, right? If you make $40 an hour, or sorry, $50 an hour, that's $100 that you could have technically spent that time, making. And if so like a DoorDash order for $25, like pay that every time. Now, I'm not encouraging you guys to go like buy $1 million of takeout, but like people want your service. They want to do something with you online. Like they want to pay for your service because you just are an expert at it. The risk of them doing it. For instance, another example of this is car maintenance. I'm terrible. I'm the worst at car maintenance. This car, thankfully, has done a great job of it's been good. But anytime it's time to change the brakes, I used to be like, I'm gonna change the brakes, because guess what? I go to the store or AutoZone, it's like $20 for like a pad of brakes. But then it takes me like an hour to get off like one wheel with all the bolts and all that, because I usually don't even have the right tools, or the bolts are rusted on. And then it takes me like another hour just to try to get the brake and all that stuff on. I end up putting it on wrong somehow. Then I have to do another tire, the other one, so I'm doing front brakes. That's like 3-4 hours that we're in now, while like I'm over here sweating in the sun or pouring. Like it's just like not fun. I'm also adding in risk. The risk of me getting hurt while my car is jacked up on the jack. Did I even put it up right? Did I even put this car up? This big ton of a van, did I put it up right? So there's heavy risk, by the way, of me doing this job in general, of me fucking it up. And then every time I get in the car, I'm like, okay, I got it done. We're done. I get in the car and the brake pedals are pushy. They got air in them. And then I have to get someone else to then do the air thing because I messed it up, and they end up having to do the whole thing over. So I had to pay for the time, spent the time and spent the money and spent the money on tools to fuck it up. And then I had to actually pay someone else to undo the fuck up that I did. Like, don't let me around cars and your brakes. Just not a good idea. So I am willing to pay the premium for someone that's an expert to either, one, take on the risk and use their time and their resources and their knowledge to do it right for said premium. And that's what people are doing for you. You have to think that whatever it is that you're doing, you're providing a premium to somebody. You're providing value. You're saving someone time, which is the most valuable asset that we have. That is the biggest thing that you do. So like everything that we buy is some sort of converted raw materials, right? Let's just say bracelets, right? You got the beads, you got the string and stuff like that, and whatever goes into bracelet making, and then you use your design knowledge and color theory and all this stuff to make very beautiful bracelets or whatever, and then you might have bought the raw materials for like $2, but you sell the bracelet for $10 or $20. And then we're talking about cost of goods and profit margins and all that stuff, which we'll get into plenty of that. Plenty of that in our videos to come. But thinking about the best online business models for, you know, us guys with families, we want to do. So if you have a service, that is one of the best models that I wouldn't say it's the best, okay? Because each of these have pros and cons. But when you do knowledge work, you exchange your time and knowledge for money, a lot of times you don't actually have raw materials that you have to pay for, okay? You don't have a lot of stuff cutting into your bottom line. So for me, for instance, because I know how to build a website, and I know I've been through all the pitfalls, all the stuff of that, you know, someone might pay me, you know, $2,000, $3,000 for a website, and I'm able to take that, and because there's not really any cost of goods associated with that, of course I could hire a junior developer, and we can talk about more about that, hiring out people in another video, but let's just assume that I'm the only one working, because this is probably what you're at right now. It's just the only cost of goods that we really have are just me exchanging my time to build the product, the intangible product. It's not a physical product, it's an intangible product. And then that's it. So pretty much it might take me 8 hours to do that, and then I collect all profits. Now, a bad model might be, let's say that you have a physical product, right, that you are making. And let's just say that someone pays you $500 for this product, but cost of goods, you know, it costs you about $250, $300, you know, let's just say $250 to make the product. You're not only, even though it looks like you made $500, you only pocketed $250, and maybe less than that if we're all said and done before we off the business expenses up, blah, blah, blah. You wanted to have the best profit margins as you can. I personally like 80 to 90% profit margins. And what does that mean? That means, let's say that I have a product that I charge, let's say $2,000 for, right? If I had a profit margin of 80%, that would mean that I would spend no more than $400 for that $2,000. I'd be able to pocket $1,600 or $1,600, and it cost me $400 to make. If it was a 90% profit margin, that would be an 80% profit margin. If it was a 90% profit margin, which sounds so great, they pay us $2,000, we're able to make it for $200. That's amazing, and that's where you want to be at. So we may have all like business models, different types, like subscription versus a one-off product, but also getting very intentional about like your cost of goods, because let's just say that you mess up the product. Maybe you're at the 90% profit margin, right? It's $2,000 to make it, or that you're getting, but it takes you $200 to make it. Let's say you mess it up. Let's say you hired out someone to make it for $200. If they mess it up, guess what? You have another $200 that you can spend for somebody else to make it, and even another $200 if you really wanted to get into that, and even time for you to make it better if for whatever reason level 1, 2, and 3 did not pan out. But again, let's just say, coming back to our original model of a 50% profit margin, which would be the 500, and you collect 250, it costs you 250 to make. Let's say you messed it up, or the client's not happy and you have to redo it. Now it costs you another 250, and guess what? You just traded all your time and you made $0. That's not where you want to be. You want to always make sure you have the profit. But coming back to, you know, being a family man or a family woman or whatever, subscription based is probably the better way to go, because you do something and then it's reoccurring. You can kind of predict it. Now, the thing that I've come up against in time is that sometimes it can be pretty hard to scale that model where you are the person providing it, and you start to get some sort of success. Now you have a lot of clients coming in, and then you feel overworked and overwhelmed. Yes, the money is great, but you are probably at a capacity of 10 clients maybe. After that, you're just like, oh my God, I agreed to all this work, and it's every month, and it's not bad to have work, but you can get really overwhelmed with that. And so there are other ways to make the most of your time. So what you're typically doing in service-based is a one-to-one type of business. Client comes to you, for instance me, client comes to me, needs a website, I build the website for that person, okay? That is a very exclusive, intimate relationship. Now you can have a one-to-group. Let's just put up 5 right here. You can have a one-to-group. Those are a group of people, one being yourself. And then you can have a one-to-many, which is like, for instance, me making this video is me making one piece of content, and then it's going to go out to many people. So it's high leverage. If I was to, say, record this video only for one client, and then I had to record another video for another client and record another video for another client, you can see how that is very hard to scale. So if we think about our products in high leverage situations, if you think about online courses are a very great business model to get into if you have the audience. We're going to assume that you have the audience. We'll talk more about audience in future videos, but let's say you have a YouTube video, you're recording the YouTube video, you're doing the thing, blah, blah, blah. And then you say, hey, I just opened up this course. I'd love for you to check it out. Boom. What's great about this is that you put in the initial 10, 20, 30, 40 hours to build this course, okay? And that's it. That's an asset that then sits forever on your online website, that then anyone that comes in can forever buy without you needing to be there, which is great. Service, which is what I'm doing which I'm doing with the websites, is not like that. I have to be there for each one client. So in a sense, service can be a little bit hard. Products are the better way to go, which your course is a product. A book is a product, right? You spend upfront time capital, okay? 30, 40, 50, 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever, to build this product. Then the product sits forever and makes money for you. So ideally, eventually in time, you'd like, you have audience, product, service. You need an audience because people need, it's community. You got to build an audience so people actually care about what you're talking about and you have authority. But with that audience, you can then deploy a service for them, which is less scalable. It's harder to scale, but more money. You can make more money in a sense to one-to-one type of relationships, or you can make a product, right? Like a book or a course or merch, right? That you sell. And so those would be, if I had to think about the online business models that work really well, I find that reoccurring, right? If, like, for instance, hosting with web hosting, it's pretty minimum effort for me to kind of go in and make updates to websites. I just know what I'm doing because I have the expertise. It's reoccurring, doesn't take me long, okay? And it scales. Every single new client that you get now compounds. It gets more and more and more and more and more. So you got reoccurring revenue. Then you have the product-based model where you create courses. So every quarter you make a new course, and if you have a critical mass audience, you point them to that course, and that course then just makes you more money, which is great. The hardest business to maybe operate is one that requires a substantial amount of your time, and it's one-to-one combat, and that is why I think I'm making these videos too, is that, like, I want to create a critical mass audience, because it's already hard enough to fulfill a product, but it's also even harder to market a product. And so I'd rather educate something that I'm passionate about and do it more organically and bring people in through the fold that way with Start Right, versus going the hand-to-hand combat, which is outreach, which is like, hey guys, do you need a website? Hey guys, do you need a website? Hey guys, like there's nothing wrong with that, but it's much more of a time drain. And as a parent, you the person with the parent, you have limited resources. You don't have all the time in the world. So I'm thinking of things that would work well for you as a parent versus maybe somebody that has a full 40 hours that they can just dedicate to their business every single day, whatever. If you are in that point where you've transitioned over from employment / self-employment, whatever, to like into your own business type of thing, that's great. But we're always thinking about buying back our time. So our business, at the end of the day, why do we need a business? Why do we want a business? The business is to create us income, eventually passive income, right? Eventually be able to make us money so that money can then afford us time freedom. And ultimately, you don't want to be a slave to your business. Most people entrap themselves in their business. They get this idea that they work for the employer, and they're like, I hate this work. This is terrible. I'm going to go start my own business so I can have freedom. But what's truth about all businesses is that it requires so much time and energy and effort. And so we have to get much better about leverage on our time, leverage on our energy, leverage on our focus. And the only way you do that is being very intentional about like your business model. All right, if you enjoyed this one, please press the subscribe button. It really helps me. In the next one, we are going to be talking about choosing the right niche for your online business. So much more good content coming to you guys, my parentpreneurs, my people that love improving themselves, lifting themselves up. Let's go, the heroes out there. All right, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.